Hello, and welcome to the Author's Den podcast, where we help authors share their message to the world. Join us as we feature unique conversations and get ready to be inspired. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, and welcome, everyone. I am your host. I am Lizzie, and I'm here. I'm one of the hosts for the Author's Den. How are you doing, everyone? This is an incredible show. As always, I always say that with every show, but it is. I am so excited. I'm so optimistic, and I'm really looking forward for you to be able to meet an incredible author. And I mean, she is in a place that I would love to be at. She's in one of my favorite places in the world, other than, the Dominican and Havana and all that. She's in Hawaii all the way, and it's morning for her. And oh my goodness, I am so excited to be able to bring this author for you. So just to let you know, this show is recorded. We are not live, but if you would like to interact with us, you can always connect to us through the authorsdenpodcast.com. There is a form that you can fill out if you're interested in being here with us. There's also other episodes that the author that Dan has put together. And if you have any questions, if you would like to get in touch with one of our authors, this is the best place to also do it. Remind you that we are on all of the social media platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are also on Castbox. We are also on Google Podcasts. We are also on Players FM. We are also on Overcast and Stitcher and Addicted and Amazon Music, and obviously our website. So there's a lot of places where you can reach us, YouTube as well, and listen to incredible stories that you heard from the intro. So this is an incredible opportunity, not only for me to learn about incredible authors, incredible people, but for you to be inspired. And that's really what it's all about, being inspired. Yeah! So today, everyone, as I mentioned to you, we have an incredible author, a lady that is right now in Hawaii, one of my favorite places in the world, and her name is Lucette Walter. Lucette was born in Alexandria, Egypt. Wow. Lucette Walter grew up in Paris. So, travailler en français. My French is not the greatest. And later, she relocated with her family to Chicago, and she moved to Los Angeles where she pursued the career in film. So this lady is well when it to do interviews and film and things like that. She recently completed her screenplay adaptation of The Light of the Desert. And guess what? This is not the first book she's written. She's already working on her second novel. So very accomplished, and wow, it's going to be an incredible talk. So let's welcome her with a wonderful round of applause for you to be able to cheer her up, because Hello, Lucette, and welcome to the Author's Den. Welcome to the show. I don't have to ask you how is the weather in Hawaii, because I never assume, that it's probably just gorgeous today.
Yes, it is gorgeous today. It's not always gorgeous. We get a lot of rain usually, and that's why it's called the Garden Isle. But it is a beautiful day today, and we are very grateful.
Wow. One of the places that I have not visited yet is Hawaii. I've been all over the tropic, but Hawaii is one of the places that I have love to live, or at least visit. And I don't know if it was part of your bucket list, because you originally, were born in Egypt, went to Paris, came to the United States, and here you are now in Hawaii. Can you tell us a little bit of why Hawaii and why so many moves, why so many changes?
Yes, actually, I lived in California for a very long time, and then I married a wonderful man who was a developer of resorts. And so he started, many years ago, he started doing single-family homes in Kauai and other islands. So that's why I moved here with him after I married him. And but we still commuted. We still went back and forth between Hawaii and California, where we lived. So then eventually I just decided to stay here longer. But I do go back to California relatively often, and I do go back also to London because I'm working with a wonderful writer who worked with me on the first-hour miniseries presentation for Light of the Desert. So, and also we just finished the Audible. So a lot going on. It's very exciting.
I can tell I can see that a lot of this is going on, which is incredible. Good for you. What a privilege, what an honor to be able to marry someone who was into developing places in Hawaii of all places. But good for you, and I'm obviously you're not taking it for granted. You love it. You enjoy it every moment of it. And like I said, we hear that it's always sunny and beautiful, but I know that there is quite a bit of rain most of the time, and but you get your gorgeous days. You definitely, I assume that you enjoy it. So, Lucette, one of the things that one of the things that I love to ask is to our guests is the writing part of your life, because you've lived in so many places in the world and you experienced so many things in your life, and obviously it makes sense for you to document it, write it, make a book out of it. Was writing always part of your life from the get-go, from being a little girl, or is something that it developed later on, knowing that you've experienced so many things and you've gone through so many things? Tell us a little bit about that. That will give you give the audience an idea as to not everybody was born with the gift of writing, and some people are born with the gift of writing. Tell us how did writing come to you, or came to you, or is part of you?
No, I don't think I was born, frankly, with a gift of writing, because I was also born with many different languages, and I spoke fluent French. French is my first language. And when I was in Paris, first of all, this sounds funny, but I started to write in order to be heard. I was the third child, the third daughter, and the only way I could be heard was by writing. And also, when I was in Paris, I was about 14 years old, and we went on a field trip to the Louvre, and they asked us to write, what we saw. And I gave every detail of every statue and my thoughts and what I saw. Like in French, we say la statue de Samothrace, which you see she's very prominent there with the wings. And I was so taken by that. And anyway, so long story short is I started to write more about that and my feelings. And my teacher at the time read it out loud and said, "This is very well done." But this was all in French. But from that moment on, I felt in my heart that I really needed to write. And I loved reading, obviously. So that's why. But it just, I don't think it came actually, I think it's a combination, if you will, of a lot of us we all want to write something to be heard. But in my case, I just decided I had to pursue this.
Wow. I love the part that you said that you started writing because you wanted to be heard. And that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people out there listening, and you want to be able to have a voice, but perhaps public speaking or being on the radio or getting your point across is not the easiest thing to do. I would recommend or a suggestion that you might want to take this lovely lady advice, and perhaps if your forte is not coming across clearly to others, how put it in a pen and paper. I mean, nowadays you don't need that because you can definitely write it on the computer, tablets, or just, texts are becoming very the thing nowadays, although I don't really like it per se, but how about writing that story that you have in your heart that it's not easy for you to share with the world, but it might be easier for you to write it down. Love it, love it. So the book that we're going to be talking about, Lucette, is your latest creation, your latest invention, or your latest book is The Light of the Desert. Can you tell us a little bit about the book? What inspired you? What gave you the idea? What happened in your life that you came up with this incredible story for the listeners to be able to get a good idea of what we're talking about and why it's so important to get this book? I mean, it's imperative for the world to know.
Yes, well, I decided to write, and I titled it Light of the Desert, because it deals with this wonderful young lady, very naive, she's 21. But what made me write this book was that it first began quite a long time ago now. In 1993, I had read about a young woman who had been unjustly accused in the Middle East in Jordan. I had visited Jordan. I had gone back to different countries, and I had what bothered me enormously was when I found out about the fact that a man can kill. The old days came back somehow, I think I would safely say end of 70s perhaps, or 80s, where it seemed like things came back. And women were, they had to cover up again, and honor killing dealt with women who had to abide by their father's rule, and if they did not, they could be killed, they could be stoned like the ancient days, and that's what was happening actually. So I wanted to bring that darkness into light. I wanted people to know about it, because also families were moving into Canada, moving into the United States, but it was written up that some fathers did kill their daughters because they fell in love with someone else. And so this was such a complicated situation, and I wanted to give light and let people simply be aware that a lot of women are suffering through this type of abuse. So this one girl, actually in 1993, had been stoned, and another one had been drowned, which is a terrible thing, but that was a true story. And so I thought, well, what if she survives? And what happens if she survives and they don't know? The father doesn't know, and then he goes through many years. He starts to feel guilt, but he cannot tell anyone. He doesn't know she's alive. And then, so that when you read the book, there's so much to it, but it gives a great deal of hope that this hopefully will stop, because in the end, a father is still a father. And let's not talk about the end. We want to be able to get the readers intrigued and curious about what is going on. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is that it's a mixture of make-believe, but also there's a lot of reality, things that you have read and you have lived back in the Middle East. Is that what I'm getting? Yes, and exactly. And, they are beautiful people. I just feel sad that this culture came back, and I feel sad for the women who have suffered through not being able to be free, and many were killed. So I just wanted people to be aware of it, and very simply. But this story actually became a lot of what happened came from reality, actually. A lot of the characters were those that I had known about and heard about and read about, mostly known. So there's a lot, it's fiction, but there's a lot of truth to the fiction. And also where she goes from one country to another and the people she meets and how she grows. And you live through her, her experience in those different countries and different languages. And so I think I feel confident enough to say it's a great story for those who have not traveled and see what goes on and what can go on, and in the end that you do meet good people who care. So that's why I say light of the desert. She brings light and to those who have. Also, she teaches without realizing. She's a wonderful human being who accepts her fate and takes the impossible and makes it possible. And anyway, you have to read the book and you'll know what I mean.
We have to definitely need to get into that book. I foresee a little bit of you in this fiction person, but we're not going to go there. Love it. Before, I do not want to forget, for people that are listening right now, because this is recorded, where can we get the copy of Light of the Desert?
Yes, thank you for asking. Amazon, of course, through Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And I guess I'm going to try and anywhere, actually, through, mostly, like I said, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Everybody knows about that. But I'm going to try other ways as well. And I'm also working with London, as I was mentioning before. I have wonderful people interested in working with me on the book and the possibility of turning this into a 6-hour miniseries. At first we thought an 8-hour. We're still working on that, a miniseries. So I do have the first hour written. And it was written actually with a director, well known. I don't know if I could give you her name, but she just finished directing a movie, and I was executive producer on that movie. It just wrapped a few weeks ago. So I don't know if I can mention her name because she's going to be
very prestigious. What a surprise, Lucette, to be able to learn that this book is as good as to have a series come up. Congratulations. This is news for me and news for a lot of people that are listening to us right now. So this book is going to be turned into a novel, and rather a series, online series. So congratulations. Let me give you an applause. How does it make you feel after you put in a lot of sweat? I assume a little bit of tears. I assume a little bit of work into this, maybe lots of work, that this book is not only getting the reviews or getting the accolades that you deserve, but also turning to a TV series. How do you feel? Like, is it surreal, or are you saying finally it's happening?
Well, actually, a lot of people read the book. I didn't realize that it would be received so well, and I'm very grateful. But they all said, this has to be a movie. Why aren't you making a movie? And you were in the film business, and why is it not a movie? So, but it's not so easy, First I had to have it written, and the script, and the first hour miniseries that I mentioned before. So that's it's mostly, I couldn't believe so many people have said, I read your book, I loved your book, or you can read all the reviews. Many say this should be a movie. And that's what inspired me, that I thought, yeah, okay, so let's make a movie out of it. But, it's going to take some time.
Absolutely. Everything takes time, and I'm on Amazon right now, everyone, and she's not lying. I'm seeing review after review, comments from all over United States. Garni Hab, On the Desert, A Light Shine Goes On. There is another one, a wonderful graping to read. This is from somebody in the United States as well. Beverly Hills Concierge Document. Can't wait, and literally I'm paraphrasing, can't wait to see this movie. Cynthia, hands down, one of the most excited books I've ever read. This is beautiful, exciting throughout. This is somebody from the United States. The story was very interesting, and I looked forward to reading more each day what a girl went through terrorizing time, and she had survived somehow. I would recommend the book to anyone who likes excitement, and the list goes on. It's review after review. And you know what? This was a segue to ask you what you think or what kind of reviews you're getting. But we already covered this. This is incredible, and I hear that as per what I was reading was that you are already working on a sequel or a novel. I can't believe it's so fast.
Yeah, well, no, it's been, the book was published a while ago. I'm very grateful that it's done so well. Also, I wanted to add, before I forget, that I have received some wonderful reviews on Goodreads. A lot of people check Goodreads to make sure, not only on Amazon, the reviews from Amazon, but also Goodreads is an important place to go to and read those reviews for those who are interested before they purchase the book, which is also on Kindle, by the way, and the audiobook is coming out soon.
Audiobooks. I am huge in audiobooks. I read everything in audiobooks. I'm walking or jogging, and I'm listening to an incredible book. So that's big nowadays. We could be cooking and cleaning the house and jogging. Killing two birds at once. And audiobooks is incredible.
And I want to say I'm very excited because the audiobook is now coming within the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be out on Amazon, the audiobook. And it's actually, her name is Virginia Gilbert, and she did a tremendous job. She's British and did a tremendous job while reading it. So anyway, I can't wait to have it out there on Amazon for people to hear.
We're watching, and I'm reading the reviews from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and now you mentioned another one. What is the response, or what is the reaction from family, friends? You have friends all over the world. You've traveled. You're from Paris. You're born in Egypt. You've lived in LA. Now you're in Hawaii. Do they see you as the great, amazing writer, somebody who wanted to have their thoughts across, or they're being heard to this incredible artist? I consider yourself being incredible. What do you get? What is the feedback that you get from family and friends?
Oh, thank you. Well, family, I have to tell you the truth, rather critical, a little critical. Well, why didn't you do it this way? And it's normal for family. They are excited, but they always come up with something, they always have their own ideas of different things that happen in the book. And they say, well, how come you didn't do that? And I'm thinking, go and write your own book, and then you will understand. But other than that, I've had, overall, I'm just giving you those little things, but overall, I am very grateful that so many people have enjoyed the book, and that's what it's about. It's about what's the most important thing. What is the most important thing is reading a book, as you probably know that yourself, reading a book, and then you close it, and you look up and you say, and you feel good, and you've learned something. And then this is what's most important, is to write something that teaches, that inspires maybe, hopefully, and does not preach, but something that's why we read. We read to get into a different place, right? Every book we read. But this book I was hoping, that's why also I named it, another reason, Light of the Desert. I wanted to bring light to a dark subject again, very important. And I felt so good. Yes, in answer to your question, a lot of people have responded and said, I really enjoyed it. And someone recently said to me, you know what, I fell down and I saw your book on my shelf, I picked it up and I felt the need to read it, and it made me happy. So those were the things that I'm so grateful for.
Mm-hmm. That is such a good feedback. I picked it up and it made me happy, and especially you probably know, and I hate talking on that subject, but the last 2 years it's been a very rough 2 years for a lot of us all over the world. I mean, we were as busy as ever because we couldn't, connect with a lot of people due to the pandemic, but we were able to connect a lot of people through the internet. But a lot of people needed to be felt that they were somewhere else, especially because they weren't allowed to travel. And somebody who, like yourself, were privileged to be able to travel in many places that some of us dream of, that will give them, and a lot of people too, they're so they think that Canada, United States, and many other places in the world is the center of the universe, and they don't imagine themselves being somewhere else in a place that things are different, that unfortunately bad things are happening to women and children, sometimes men as well. So it broadens the horizons of a lot of people that otherwise, without your book, without your story, without you telling the way it is, a lot of people would not be able to get a concept that the world is not just your backyard, not just that. So I think that you're doing a great job, literally giving light in some people's desert, and I think you're doing an incredible job. I think we did touch a little bit, so you are working now on a second novel. I guess you must have a lot of creative juices, a lot of time, or just, this is, I give them to you. Now that I've finished this is a perfect time for me to continue working and finishing this something else. What is that something else? Because I'm working on the miniseries, so that took some time away. Also, other matters have happened in my life, so I was unable to really pursue another. I have 2 books in mind. It just took longer than I had expected. The next book actually is different. I was going to do a prequel, and I'm still working on that for Light of the Desert. But then now I'm working on another book. The characters are yelling at me. You know how it is when you write? The characters they come in and they talk to you. I know that's crazy, but you talk to a writer and they say, oh, yeah. But then, so I'm working on a book, and I don't know. I don't want to say too soon because it's still in the works, as they say, and gratefully I've been able to write this good story, but it starts in 1963 and it's called Johnny Angel. And so that's as much as I can say. It's very different than Light of the Desert. I needed to do something different for now. But the main focus, besides Johnny Angel,
besides that, the focus now is to do the mini-series, because I feel that this needs to get out. And that's why I was in London. I was talking to different people, because I feel that it can be done over there versus in the United States. And that's okay. It broadens our horizons.
And you have so many things on the go, Lucette, and you have the mini-series, you have things that are happening, and I think that you're doing incredible for everything that you have accomplished. For somebody who just wanted to have their thoughts across, look at you writing novels and working on mini-series from your book. This is, for a lot of us, is just a dream, and never happens to get accomplished, but you are actually living what your dreams are, which is an incredible thing. And congratulations, and again, kudos to you. That takes me to my last question, and a very good segue. For somebody who is listening on the other side of the world, and they're seeing you, look at A Perfect Lie Hawaii, having, writing books and having their books turned into mini-series and so forth and so on, but I don't see myself a writer, but I do have incredible ideas. I don't see myself becoming even published, but I would like to. What would you say to someone who is on the other side and needs, literally, needs a little bit of light in the desert? What would be your words of wisdom?
Well, nothing is impossible. And that's one thing I learned growing up. Nothing is impossible. And when you are told you cannot, that should challenge you to know that, yes, you can. And that's what kept me going. Because, I was really not lucky. You work at your luck. Luck comes with hard work, dedication, discipline. And that's what is important. But if you think it is impossible, somebody says it's impossible, that should enlighten you to know, okay, thank you, and know in your heart it is possible. So that's what you have to stick to. Somebody tells you cannot do something, know in your heart that yes, you can. Absolutely. And
absolutely. Love it. This is beautiful. Yes, you deserve a round of applause. And so for you guys listening to us and on the other side of the world, if nothing made sense for you today or didn't touch you or didn't inspire you, I am 100% sure that this will. So just listen to this last part. I'm kidding. Listen to the whole thing. And don't forget, get your copy of The Light of the Desert. I am 100% can guarantee you will be surprised, you will be happy, and you also will be enlightened to perhaps help you to write that book that is already in your heart. You just need a little bit of push. Lucette, it's been incredible talking to you and sharing so many beautiful experiences, your travel, your life, your book, and obviously your accomplishment. It's been such an honor to have you here with us today, and we wish you all the greatest success that you're having so far. I see you're already very successful, and all of you know that I don't just talk about money success. I'm talking about you doing what you love to do. And so thank you for sharing your time on a busy morning, weekend in Hawaii. It's evening, almost evening for us. So thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful to be talking to you, and I so appreciate listening to me. And I wish everyone all the very best, and follow your heart, absolutely. And there you have it, everyone. Words from the wise Lucette Williams. And I thank you again for being here, for listening to the show. And don't forget to follow Authors Den on all our social media. And you can get that information. You can hear this recording on authorsdenpodcast.com. We'll be back soon. Thank you again, and make it a great, great weekend.
Thank you for listening to another exciting episode of the Author's Den podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show so you don't miss any of our future episodes. That's all for now. We'll see you next time.